Hey y'all, it's Lindsay. We have been invited to a cookout today over at a friend's house, and they are taking care of the main entree. I think they're doing either pulled pork or burgers and brats, I can't remember, but they've asked everyone invited to bring a side dish to share or a dessert. I thought that since we eat in a ketogenic friendly way with the higher fat, moderate protein, and lower carb, I thought I would bring something friendly for us to eat that is also a crowd pleaser. So I decided on jalapeno poppers. I also want to make some that are more kid friendly, or people who either struggle with like the acid reflux or have an aversion to spicier foods. I want to make those with the little mini sweet peppers. Those work out really well for that instance. All of my girls love the little tiny pepper poppers is what we call them because they are peppers. And yeah, so I want to get you set up. This will be my first time trying to really situate the camera here in this new kitchen to be able to be a top-down view. I don't have the exact equipment that I really would like to use, so we're just gonna kind of work with what I got and we'll see if it turns out. But first, it's a little bit hot in here. I'm gonna put my hair up, wash my hands, and then we are gonna get after it. To start with, I have 10 jalapenos. I did wash these. I'm snapping off the stems, and then I will be slicing them in half. I do like to use a spoon to scrape out the seeds and the little veiny parts. I just find that it works out really well for me. If you feel like it's necessary to wear gloves and eye protection, I do encourage you to do that. I tend to not have a problem, so that's why you don't see me wearing gloves here. And I like to make my jalapeno poppers very simplistic. Jalapenos, cream cheese, bacon, done. Well, actually not true. I do like to sprinkle salt and pepper on my actual jalapeno halves before I load the cream cheese, but as you're gonna see here in a moment, I forgot to do that. So if you want a little extra flavor, I would add the salt and pepper to the inside of the jalapeno flesh and then put the cream cheese down. But even if you don't do that, the bacon is still flavorful enough and the cream cheese is still flavorful enough to really meet that salty need for these poppers. I do try to leave the top of the jalapeno intact to create that top wall on the little half to prevent any of the cream cheese from oozing out when these are cooked. Typically my husband will grill these for us on the charcoal grill, but I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of peppers and I wanted them to all bake evenly, or rather cook evenly, and instead of having him stand outside in the heat over an open fire and have to constantly shuffle them around the charcoal grill, I decided that I would do these in the oven with our convection setting. So it kind of works like a massive air fryer, which is really handy, and it makes the bacon crisp up better than if it had been in a regular oven. I did cut all of my cream cheese in 1 tablespoon cubes to make it very simple and to get approximately the same volume of cream cheese per popper. Using the parchment paper helps me to reduce the number of dishes that I have to wash when it comes to cleanup, and setting in that little rack on top of the parchment paper in my sheet pan allows me to get more airflow to the bottom side of these jalapeno poppers. Generally speaking, a tablespoon per pepper half works well. However, some of these peppers were a little smaller, some were a little larger. And I'm just using that spoon again to spread the cream cheese evenly. Before adding the cream cheese is when I would have added salt and pepper if I would have remembered that during this portion of prepping. To those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. I do a lot of what I eat in a day videos. I do occasionally a food prep video or show you how to make a recipe Very rarely I will add a grocery haul, and I often like to talk about things that I'm thinking through as it pertains to health and wellness. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I would love for you to poke around my channel and consider subscribing if it's something you feel like you want to do. And if you are a returning viewer, I appreciate you being here so very much. All right, here's my bacon. I've got some bacon opened. I'm going to use this first, and these are full slices of bacon. I find that half slices on jalapenos is not quite enough, and I'm making sure to use a thin, regular thickness kind of a bacon rather than a thick cut bacon. That way it cooks more evenly, and it'll cook more quickly as well, so that I don't wind up with burnt peppers and underdone bacon. As you can see, those last two, they were quite small peppers, so cutting the bacon in half will actually help those two crisp evenly the same way the rest of them will. So you just kind of have to make a game day call when you are making poppers. All right, more bacon. One thing I do often do is wind up having to adjust or reconfigure the way that I lay things out on pans or inside casserole dishes or in a skillet or any of those types of things. I always wind up having to rearrange and reconfigure, almost like playing Tetris with my food, just because I start off one way and that's just not the way it needs to be. So, all right, I'm gonna wash my hands now and come back with these poppers and get them into the oven. So pretty. All right, so because I am using convection bake, I'm going to set it to 350 degrees, but that will actually be 325 degrees in the convection setting. While I let those jalapenos get started in the oven, I'm going to wash and prepare the regular little miniature sweet peppers in almost the exact same fashion. I do like to pinch off that little green cap on the end of these little guys. I don't need to make too many of these because there's not going to be a ton of people at this cookout, but I do want to make enough for the children to enjoy them. I'm going to do the exact same procedure. Cut them all in half and then scrape out the centers with a spoon, leaving the top little cap area intact so the cream cheese doesn't ooze out. These are much smaller than my jalapenos, and some of them are kind of a wonky shape where they're almost flat or kind of have kind of a bowed inward shape to them, so it won't take quite as much cream cheese to fill each of these as it did my jalapeno peppers. One of the things that I absolutely love about our new kitchen is the trash bin right next to a prep zone, and it's tucked away in a cabinet. It's brilliant. I love it so very much. All right, small cleanup, and we are going to do the same prep method on our sheet tray with a grate on top of that parchment, and here I am adding that salt and that pepper. That was the thing that I wish I would have remembered on those jalapenos. All right, and because they are smaller, like I mentioned, I'm only going to do half a tablespoon per pepper half. Every single pepper that I made in this video was devoured at the cookout. They were gone, I don't know, within 20 minutes. Everybody loves them. You see the children all kind of swimming around me just waiting for these to be done so they can taste test them. And much to their chagrin, I did not allow them to have them until we got to the cookout. And even then I had to sort of meter the amount that they got so that everybody could have a chance to taste one that wanted one. They're just definitely a fun side dish to bring. The girls like it a lot when I make these on dinner nights, just a regular old dinner. I can bake a pan of chicken and then make these poppers, and they think that it's a super fancy dinner that is way more enjoyable and fun to eat for, to their minds. So it does take a little bit of extra time. It is some few extra steps, but it can be worth it. Now, we've said before, these peppers are smaller, so I cut the bacon in half to make it more manageable on these smaller peppers. Hey, say smaller peppers a few more times, Lindsay. Sorry, y'all. Oh, it's a good time. It's a good time. I learned from the jalapenos that the direction I originally started off with was not ideal, so here we are doing it a little bit more effectively. Half a slice of bacon per pepper, half, and it turns out just about perfect. Another thing is that these peppers, I want to say they were about $3.50, and the bacon I want to say was about $6. The cream cheese was about $2, so for a decent price you can have a fun little appetizer or side dish to bring to a gathering. And there they are. I'm sort of rotating the pans. It is a convection bake oven, but I do like to rotate them and give everybody a chance to be in the center of the oven. All right, my 20 minutes are up, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to a low broil just to get a little browning on there. I know the knob is not quite situated properly, but there you go, low broil. And these are beautiful. Rotating again, giving them a few more minutes. Because the jalapenos were in longer, I'm going to go ahead and pull those, and I'm going to let the broiler work a little more magic on those sweet peppers. Oh, look at those. Glorious. And here are the pepper poppers. Super cute, super tasty. Now I need to put these in a dish so I can take them along with us. I am going to continue transferring these guys into my travel Pyrex here and leave you. I thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate that so very much, and I hope to see you in my next video.